our out-front legal analyst, Ryan Goodman, is with us now. Ryan, tell us why the two sides are having such a tough time coming to an agreement here.
I think they might have irreconcilable differences, essentially, that the special counsel would like to move forward, would also like to move forward with a determination by Judge Chutkan as to whether or not the case can proceed under the new superseding indictment. And I think Donald Trump would have reasons to delay. And I think he also has some good arguments for delay, such as, you just handed me a new indictment. I need time to, consider this, research it, come up with our position. And that came out of the blue a couple days ago. So let's postpone things.
All right. So let's say the differences are things they cannot reconcile. What happens?
In that instance, then the judge has to decide, and she will take both sides' opinions as to what they think should happen next. But I think she also might defer more to the defendant in this case, because the defendant is claiming that, this is being rushed too quickly, given that he just got indicted a second time, and he needs more time to deal with it. And that's a constitutional right. So I think she might err on the side of President Trump in this instance.
What are you looking for in the filing or filings when we do get them?
The biggest thing I'm looking for is, regardless of what the Justice Department asks for, does it set up a situation in which Judge Chutkan herself thinks, I'm not going to have a huge public hearing on all of the evidence, but I at least want to hear from somebody like Mike Pence, because the allegations related to the former vice president are different than all the other allegations in the indictment, in which he's not totally considered communications with the president as private action. It is official action that's presumptively immune, and then the government can rebut the presumption. She might say, okay, for me to figure that one out, I need to hear from the witness to see what were those communications about. If that's in the filing, that would be a big deal, because that could happen before the election.
Jack Smith made that case in the superseding indictment. Judge Chutkan may see it that way, but ultimately, could that be challenged?
100%. If she rules against Donald Trump, he will appeal. It'll go to the Court of Appeals, and then it probably will go to the Supreme Court again. So we're a long way off from a trial starting, even if at the end of the day the Supreme Court upholds the Justice Department's view that this set of conduct is not immune and they can try him for sure. And I do think that will be the final outcome, but that's a year from now before it ever gets to a trial, even under that circumstance.
Yeah, there is another Trump case that I want to ask you about, and that is the New York hush money case. Trump was found guilty at the end of May, but he hasn't yet been sentenced. And since then, you had this Supreme Court decision on immunity, on official acts versus unofficial acts. Today, a federal judge rejected Trump's attempt to move the case to federal court, did give him the option to refile his request. What's going on here, and can Trump likely succeed in getting the case moved?
I think he has a possibility of it working. His arguments are not trivial. So he's basically going to say, and he's saying this in part of his filing, some of the evidence that was used against me at trial, like Hope Hicks's testimony when she was White House communications director, is official communications. And now we know from the Supreme Court, this is new, but now we know that that's official conduct. And so if that's so, maybe this should have all been in federal court. That's his argument. So I think it now goes to Judge Merchan. He has to determine whether or not he wants to give Donald Trump leave, which means allowing him to refile in federal court. So all eyes on Judge Merchan, and I think he might grant it.
Very interesting. We'll be looking for that. Ryan Goodman, thank you.
Thank you.
And out front next, incredible new video into CNN of Ukrainian